Welcome forward here with Consciously Creating Circumstances by George Winslow Plummer. We're entering into chapter 12 entitled Employment. These days, a job, or the absence of it, seems to be upmost in the minds of many people. How can you get a job, or a better one, by using a thought form? Not so long ago, a man I know was out of a job. He knew about thought forms, but having had an easy life up to then, had not bothered to use them. After several months of idleness, with his funds disappearing rapidly, he suddenly woke up to the fact that he was merely doing what everyone else was doing who was out of work, walking from place to place, wherever he hoped there might be a job, and advertising in the papers. And he was rapidly getting nowhere. He decided that he would, quote unquote, come to life and use the power of thought forms. But how was the question? There was a certain office where he felt sure he could be useful. He had once worked there, could do certain things for that organization, and believed that he might, without loss to anyone, be employed there. So he set up a picture of himself at work there, right in the office, and at certain desks he knew was not then being used. He clearly outlined the kind of paper he would be working on. He visualized himself receiving a pay envelope. He built up many details of the picture and then impressed it hard and often on the universal mind. He got the job. Was that a successful thought form? Apparently so, for he got what he was after. But he failed in one important point and soon afterwards lost the job. What was the one thing he did wrong, and which therefore brought him only temporary and mild success with that thought form? Do you see it? His mistake was in specifying the particulars of office he was to be employed at. He believed they needed him, and the power of his thought created a temporary condition that agreed with his idea. But basically he was wrong. They did not need him, and his thought form could not permanently overcome that fact. What should he have done? Just what he did, except that he should not have specified the office. He should have mediated or meditated fully on the manner in which his talents would well be used by somebody, not a specific person. He should have pictured himself in an office doing the kind of work he wanted as a part of a chain of effort that was giving his community a real service of some kind and receiving a pay envelope. What is really the essence of employment? Is it not service? That is a much abused word these days, but it is an honorable one nevertheless. If you desire, honestly and completely, to be useful, and impress that idea on the universal mind, the way will be found. The answer may be entirely different from what you expect, but when it comes, accept it wholeheartedly and put all of yourself into whatever it suggests. The story about the man which I had just related, a true one, by the way, has a happy ending. After being discharged from the job he secured, he had wit enough to realize his error. He went right to work on another thought form of a more general nature, without specifications as to how or where it would work out. His emphasis was put on himself as really serving. A close friend of his soon came to him and hired him for a totally unexpected kind of work, which he was glad to undertake, and that job he has held, with his pay increased twice since. I cannot tell you the exact nature of thought form you should set up to get yourself a job. I can and have told you what to do in a general way, which is all anyone can tell you. Now let me add a few don'ts. Don't see yourself replacing anyone in a job. That would probably be bad for the other person and could not do so good for you. Do not specify minutely the kind of work you want to do. There may be a better kind of work for you. Do not say you are going to get a job by such a time. Your best work may not be ready for you, and no matter what your present needs may be, your best work will be better for you in the long run if you have the courage to wait for it. Do not see yourself getting money by clever deals with other people. Those clever deals may not be good for the others, so they will not be good for you. Do not see yourself hoarding the results of your labors. There is plenty for all, even though few know it. There is certainly plenty for you. See yourself using the fruits of your labors constructively to help others, to serve the community, to build up the business you're a part of. These are a few of the principal errors to be avoided. There are others that you will find for yourself unless you stay close to the general rules laid down. And above all, remember that after you've made up your thought form correctly and consistently stamped it on the universal mind, you must act in full confidence that it has become a fact in the world of thought and will become true before your very eyes. Such concludes Chapter 12. Next chapter is entitled How to Concentrate.